Most people think respect is something you earn. Others think respect is something you demand. But the most powerful people understand a third option. Respect isn't something you argue for at all, because the moment you start fighting for your status, you've already lost some of it. My name is Arnold, and thanks for joining me for this fascinating video. Please like, share, and subscribe to help me make more of these. So, in today's video, we will be diving into the dynamics between Tony Soprano and Richie Aprile to try and decode respect dynamics that come into play between these two interesting characters in the HBO series, The Sopranos. And few scenes demonstrate this better than this confrontation between Tony Soprano and Richie Aprile. On the surface, they're arguing about money, authority, and old grudges.
Where's my sister?
The store. And we got history together.
Yeah, Israel and fucking Palestine.
But underneath, something much more interesting is happening. Richie is trying to pull Tony into a status battle. And Tony understands that the person who accepts that invitation is usually the one who loses. When Richie shows up at Tony's house, the conversation immediately turns hostile. Tony asks,
10 years, you thought about Janice? There are men in the camp that are looking at my sister.
Each his own, Tony. Each his own.
Richie fires back.
Crossed the line on me once, Anthony, and I held my tongue. She may be your sister, but back the fuck off.
The disagreement itself isn't what matters. What matters is the frame Richie is creating. Throughout the conversation, Richie keeps challenging Tony personally.
I applied for the loan simply because I'm trying to make this place habitable for Mom.
Oh.
I'll take care of the loan. Don't worry about it. I'll give you the money.
Oh, look at this. How's your fucking Harriet here? That's beautiful. Stay as long as you like, Rich. She's your fucking problem now.
Not his decisions, not his policies. Tony himself. At one point, Richie says,
Dude, you disrespected my game.
Like you wouldn't do anything different.
You're fucking right.
You know, Tony, I'm getting sick of this holier-than-thou act. And I'm not the only one.
Oh, really? Well, if anybody wants to make a move.
Notice how personal that attack is. Richie isn't trying to solve a problem. He's trying to force Tony into defending his status. And this is something you'll see everywhere. In meetings, in relationships, in families. One person stops discussing the issue and starts discussing who deserves respect. The goal is simple. Pull the other person into an emotional fight. Because once they're emotional, they're easier to control. Most people fall for this instantly. Tony doesn't. Imagine someone challenges your authority at work. Maybe a coworker questions your competence. Maybe a client becomes disrespectful. Maybe a family member starts treating you like you're beneath them. The instinctive reaction is to defend yourself, to explain yourself, to prove yourself, to remind everyone who you are. Richie expects Tony to do exactly that. Instead, Tony keeps redirecting the conversation away from himself. And eventually we get the most important line in the entire scene.
Listen, Anthony. I'm sorry about blowing up in your game.
You had a line. What am I supposed to do with you?
What?
Back off and respect the title, you fucking jerk off.
At first glance, that sounds like Tony demanding respect. But listen carefully. He doesn't say, respect me. He says, respect the title. That difference is everything. Weak leaders make everything personal. Strong leaders make everything structural. A weak manager says, respect me because I'm your boss. A strong manager says, these are the standards everyone follows. A weak parent says, because I said so. A strong parent says, these are the rules of the house. A weak leader constantly reminds people who they are. A strong leader reminds people what the system is. That's exactly what Tony does. Richie wants an ego battle.
It's your ball. You make the rules.
Oh.
Tony turns it into a discussion about rules.
I don't make them. They've always been there.
That line reveals something most people miss. Tony isn't presenting himself as the source of authority. He's presenting himself as the guardian of it. And that's much harder to attack. The funny thing is that Richie believes he's being dominant. He's louder, more aggressive, more confrontational.
I shut him the fuck down. He comes here and he sticks it up my ass.
I don't think you can smoke in here.
but every outburst actually lowers his status.
Who's gonna complain? Huh? Him? Hey, you mind? You don't mind.
Because the entire conversation reveals something. Richie needs validation. Tony doesn't. Richie keeps trying to prove he's important. Tony already knows where he stands.
Now you get this. David Scatino doesn't pay you a fucking penny until I get mine first.
Oh.
That's the tax you get for raising your hands in my game.
One of the biggest misconceptions about confidence is that confidence looks aggressive. In reality, confidence often looks indifferent.
I get mine first and you get yours. That's the way it's gonna be. I don't do something, how's it gonna look?
The person with the least need to prove themselves usually has the most power. And throughout this scene, Richie keeps showing everyone exactly how badly he needs recognition.
What do you want to talk about?
Fucking Dick Barone.
Well, as long as the two of you are happy.
I'm in no mood. It's freaking garbage business. I found out that bow tie and wearing motherfucker is charging me twice as much as everybody else to tip my trucks at his place.
So you pay the tonnage, and you charge your townships a little extra for the pickup, that's all.
Tony never has to say it. Richie says it for him.
I got the smallest amount of roots of anybody in the association.
You know, you're like the old woman who's got a Virginia ham under her arm, and she goes around crying because she's got no bread.
Most people will never deal with mob politics, but almost everyone will encounter a Richie Aprile. A difficult employee, a disrespectful client, a family member who constantly challenges boundaries, a person who turns every disagreement into a test of status. When that happens, pay attention to the trap. The trap is believing you need to defend your importance. You don't. The more you argue for your status, the weaker it appears.
You go home, Richie. This ain't gonna happen to one of my players.
Instead of saying, respect me, focus on, these are the expectations. Instead of making it personal, make it structural. Instead of defending your ego, defend the standard. Because standards are stronger than emotions, and authority rooted in principles is harder to challenge than authority rooted in personality. One reason The Sopranos remains so timeless is that beneath all the crime and violence, it's really a show about human nature. The same dynamics that exist in a mob family exist in offices, friendships, marriages, and businesses. People test boundaries. People challenge authority. People look for emotional reactions. And the people who handle those situations best are usually not the loudest people in the room. They're the people who refuse to make everything about themselves. Richie spends this entire scene fighting for respect. Tony spends the entire scene protecting the rules. And in the end, that's why one of them looks powerful and the other looks desperate. So there you have it. Please comment and leave a like for the algorithm to be kind on this video. Also, thanks for the 6 subscribers. Now, I'll leave a link to the full video below. You can check it out if you want to get more context. See you guys on the next one.